This weekend, Kamanashi come to clash for the street cred. No hands when you stand on the land, stay steady or you're gonna take a splash in the deep end. Light in the water, so buoyancy matters, so bounce and rebound to avoid your attackers. Be prepped, it helps if you could double up. Thought it was easy when we burst in the bubble, but never mind on the top talk. Just step on the platform, ready for the rough sport. Keep your eyes on the stage, yo. 8 exclamations when we shout out Keijo.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our weekly Keijo CHADS podcast where we talk about the greatness that is Keijo. Absolutely wonderful series, all about butts and titties, because that's what 2020 deserves. That's what we deserve after 2020, actually. But yeah, hello everybody, welcome back. I'm your host JoJo Talks Too Much. I do that thing where I talk too much. I'm here with 3 other lovely, Chadly individuals. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them. There's Animak.
Yo!
There's
Pleasure to be here again.
Hell yeah. There's Cyanide Blizzard.
Hello.
And there's Evanit0.
Yo, yo, yo!
And we are here to talk about episode 2 of Keijo. My dudes. My dudes. It is the episode with the beach volleyball. Or not volleyball, the beach ball.
Booty juice to take over
What
G-Fuel.
a great training arc episode, guys.
I know. I wish we had. I kind of wish we had more time, with the training arc, because like some of the shit that they were doing, I would have like actually been like, how did they do that? Without going too far into it. I mean, we can go too far into it. That's the whole point of this podcast.
I thought it was all real legit.
Yeah.
And I think that if any of us want to like, pump up our glutes and stuff like that, the butt muscles, I think that there's some great tips in there.
Exactly.
Gentlemen, Keijo starts off with probably one of the most important quotes for the rest of the series. Keijo begins with the butt and ends with the butt. And that's exactly what this was about. It's about training the glutes, getting themselves ready in peak shape. This is the episode where it's really honed in just exactly how grueling it is. You can laugh at some of the training, you can roll your eyes at some of the stuff, but at the end of the day, they drop a very, very important fact. 1 in every 5 student drops out in their first year alone. That's how intensive this program is. First year alone, 1 in every 5. Huge. And we get an example of that through this episode, as well as a great team building exercise and an opportunity to get to know the fun ladies of room 309 just a bit more.
I have
309 or 409?
309.
309, all right. Maybe I confused it because there was 4 of them. But no, yeah, I think, Cyanide, you are completely right. As I said last week, like these girls are not just looking pretty and getting money playing, streaming and shit. They on Twitch, they are earning this, baby. Like they're working hard, like falling down on the ground from all the running, like training physically. They are athletes. And even just the intro, I want to talk about like the little intro before the show actually started with like the narrator. He's just the epicness of it. Like Keijo has become one of the major forms of legalized gambling, and it's just like the butts and the boobs and the clash and the intensity. Like I loved it, bro. I loved it.
It's phenomenal. I love that they actually address the fact that like Keijo is like one of the few things where there is legalized gambling involved. Like that's how big like Keijo is to this like universe's lore and everything. Like I really like how deep they go with like how important Keijo is.
Yeah, and I mean, so it's not just about the attraction is not just about the butts and the boobs. It's also the spirit of competition, and you can win money on it by betting. Like it's crazy. It's like it's our Super Bowl, boys. This is our Super Bowl.
If this I wish Keijo was real, because like if this was real, this would be more engaging than like any other sport. Like this would be the Super Bowl. Like this would be like such a big deal. I would be betting big money on Keijo matches. I'm telling you, dude. Like that would be where people, because and that's what I think is fun, is that like even if you're a dude and you're not like technically allowed in the Keijo ring, you can still be part of it by like supporting your team, by throwing bets behind them. Like you still feel that like that sense of like community behind Keijo. Like you still feel like you're part of something. You're like part of the team, even if you're just like in the audience.
Bro,
which
we would
is-
be the groupies. We would be like following, the Keijo
Exactly,
stars.
yeah.
We'd be like, "We love you.
Exactly, yeah. We're there with the signs. Yeah, exactly.
We
We're
love
like,
you, Nolan."
yeah, we're like the tier 3s. We're in the background, like we love
Yeah.
you.
I think Evan would be able to agree with this as well. Is that it's fascinating because you could be a surface level fan. You could appreciate it for very surface level things, but you can also appreciate it for the more nuanced aspects. And we clearly see the
absolutely.
culture established in the world with magazines, with obviously gambling focused on it, which brings in a whole new crowd there. I mean, Evan, is that not the creme de la creme?
I feel like if I were in this world, I would try to be a Keijo sports photographer. Just I feel like it would be one of the greatest jobs ever.
Hell yeah, that would be an amazing job.
Yeah.
I
would
mean,
be
I don't
there
know if
for
I
that.
would want to make like Keijo appreciation my job, because then once your passion becomes your job, you got to think about it as your job.
Mhm.
Like I feel like I want Keijo to be like a pure love for me.
It's like, yeah, it's its own magical thing.
I think that's the best part about it, though, is that it can fall into those different aspects. If you want it to be that, it can be. But if you want to take that passion to the next level, like Evan said, and be a photographer, hey, why not? I've known passionate people they've started off for a particular field in photography and then worked their way into that field. So, you never know. Maybe all of a sudden you're in photography and then you find yourself working in that Keijo field. Obviously, you can't be a competitor, but doesn't mean that you can't handle something else in the behind the scenes aspect.
You could become a masseuse specifically to help out the gluteus maximus after a Keijo match.
Yeah,
they're gonna
so
need that. Sorry.
I don't know if that would be a good idea.
Had to be
One
said.
of the
Joe.
many possibilities.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
world of
I
Keijo.
don't know how professional I'd be able to, like, just from a biological perspective, remain. But that's me.
Yeah.
I'm not the strongest of men, I guess.
Wow.
This took a turn. I gotta say, the training, like Animak touched on earlier, is gnarly, dude. Like, we spend like a good chunk of this episode talking about like the training. Like I wrote down some of them because I was like, Jesus Christ, was the 100 butt figure eights. So that sounds easy on the surface, much like a squat, right? Your first couple squats, you don't feel much.
Yeah.
As it goes, it starts to become hell. So yeah, like 100 butt figure eights, 100-meter butt walks, which I didn't even know the human body was capable of doing. 200-meter sprints, which is like, but with weights, like they're like literally like tied to tires, which is crazy.
That is actually insane.
That is insane, dude. And there's like all these other things. One of them was modified Keijo squats, where you have to hold what looked to be like maybe like an 8. Would you say like 8-pound weight? Like
Dumbbell, like a dumbbell between the cheeks, bro.
yeah,
Like
you have to
Yeah,
hold
5
a
to
dumbbell
8 pound
between the
dumbbell.
cheeks. Yeah,
that was something, bro.
that's fierce muscles, bro. Like I was like, I could not even begin to imagine. But my absolute credit to these girls, and as Cyanide pointed out, they addressed this week that 1 in 5 Keijo enthusiasts, 1 in 5 students at the school will drop out before, I believe they said before the end of the year. So one
This
in
is
every
basic
5.
training. I
Yeah.
mean, this is quite literally as if you're getting into the military. This is boot camp.
Yeah.
And they're trying to weed these people out. But they also say it as well, too, that the whole point of this is that they want to make sure, hey, you're not part of the elite class, but we want to set you up for success. We want to give you the opportunity so that if you have the skill set, you can get into the elite class. And they establish, this is going to be tough. And they throw them right into the deep end with doing exactly that, what you said. Because you're listening to this, and yeah, these sound ridiculous, but they're doing so many of them.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, like, I wouldn't be able to walk the next day.
Oh, I'd be dead.
Much less do those again.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to walk.
Yeah, I'd be straight up dead.
Basically, once you go through this training, you are officially qualified to be my wife, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is like this is the training that you must be able to
You
compete.
would have the finest of glutes, that's for sure.
Oh hell yeah! Another
Evan,
thing,
what was your favorite one? What was your favorite training?
My favorite training in the arc, I feel like that is a loaded question. Okay, they're all my favorite.
I would assume Evans would be the if I may take a stab in the dark, I would say the butt figure eights, because while they do look difficult, they're nice to watch.
True.
Yeah.
It was all nice to watch. I'll be real with you.
Yeah, I'll be 1,000%.
Even like,
Yeah.
did you see non-running?
Non-running,
Like,
I was like, oh, I see why she's Animak's fave.
it's not even fair because it's like everyone else doesn't have the amount of weight that they have to support on their chests while running, right? So it's like
Yeah.
she's training extra.
Exactly. Yeah, non is like heavy duty. Non is like the next level like weight training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing
My
I gotta bring up because I think that this is like interesting is the fact that they really reinforce at the school the class difference, right? You have like your basic training Keijo students. And then you have the elite, and we see that at the caf, right? At the cafeteria. First of all, I thought that the regular cafeteria was already dope. I was like, I wish that my high school and college and all that shit had nice food like that. I always had like basic bitch burgers that were like deep fried and all this shit. Like all my lunch experiences were nowhere near the cafeteria levels that the basic training students get. But then you see the elite class, and they got like some fancy ass ice cream. Like they're literally having ice cream for breakfast.
Bro,
wish
premium
Premium
gelato. Like,
gelato.
that ain't no joke.
Yeah, like what the. I wish, dude. Like I was like, I wish that was my experience. And I love that Kawaii is like literally teasing them with it. Like when she sees that they're spying on that the two are spying on them, Nozomi and Mieta. When she's holding the gelato and she's like, yeah, that's right.
She was just like gloating, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, that's right, bitch.
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
Sorry, Sana, go ahead.
I was gonna say, they also expand upon that by having them work on land as well too. So they're already getting into that stuff while the other girls are training. But I apologize, Animak.
No. I just want to say there's a deep philosophy in there in that cafeteria moment, guys, because as you see, Nozomi is completely happy and content when she just sees their own cafeteria. But the moment that she starts comparing herself to the elite cafeteria, that's when she gets jealous. So if she didn't know about the elite cafeteria, she would be perfectly happy, but then she gets jealous and dissatisfied because of that comparison. It's actually a great example of what Rousseau would call amour propre. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, by the way, is the idea that we're all happy when we are content within ourselves and just doing our own thing. But once we start comparing ourselves to others and trying to be better than others and compete with others, that is when we become dissatisfied and unhappy. And that is the source, according to Rousseau, of all of inequality in society. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here, guys, to unpack. It's deep.
It's deeper than
and
you
they
think.
clearly use that within the show as the competitive element to drive those girls. I want to be an elite. I want to have those nice things. I may be content with this because by no means are any of their surroundings, like their living conditions, their training conditions, the food they have to eat, none of that is substandard. But they see this that clearly is more. Oh, they get to mess around with the land. They get these better eats. They get the premium gelato. I want that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that then it drives them even further. They're creating that competitive environment. And they're fostering that to try and help them succeed. But it also ties very much into what Animak said. That's a really good point to bring up.
Yeah, and it's a great commentary on our consumer society, right? Because if you have a nice Honda Civic, let's say, that works perfectly well and you have all your needs, you're like, great. But, you see like a Ferrari and you're like, oh, but if only I had that Ferrari, bro. But you don't need the Ferrari. You have everything you need with the Honda. But it's just that idea of consumerism and competing and putting it in your head, and that makes you dissatisfied with what you have.
Exactly.
Except for if you can buy a hybrid, they're always better.
I guess there's that.
Let's assume that it was a hybrid Honda.
Yeah, there you
go.
go. There you go.
No, but one of the things that I really liked about this episode was like after the whole boot camp training or whatever, and they like finally get into the classroom. One of the first things you see the teacher write on the blackboard is no, not thy rump, never shall thou triumph.
Yes.
And like the whole idea of the class is that they're studying what was it?
Astrology.
Astrology.
Astronomy and boobology or something like
that. They're actually just studying the glutes. It's incredible.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I was saving this for this moment. Also, Briggs, thank you for the raid, my dude. But
are you okay?
I was saving this for just this moment. The teacher is a queen. I forgot how, like, when I saw her, I'm like, oh shit, it's Miku. I remember how much I loved that character solely because she got the thigh gap, which I'm into, and B, she literally hits pieces of chalk like a rocket. Like when she like cracks the Zomi in the head, I was like, holy shit. It's nuts.
As an appreciator of the mature, sexy woman, I'm definitely on board with the teacher love.
The teacher, yeah, like Miku, yeah, the sensei is truly wise. Also,
her talents are immense as well. Like we clearly see just how capable she is. And we see that from all the instructors. You know, not taking away from anyone else, but we see that just exactly how proficient they are at their craft and why they're so pivotal for teaching these ladies this. You know, it's not just a sport, you know, it's more than that. It's a lifestyle, it's a passion. Exactly. And to get there, it takes excellence, it takes persistence.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. You gotta prove yourself. True athlete queens.
Indeed. There is something that is brought up though this week that I would be very curious to know if there's actual science behind this, and that is the pelvis differences between folks in Japan versus Westerners. Yeah, I was like, is that real?
I was like, this sounds like one of those like urban legend things.
It does, yeah. Like it's I couldn't tell if it was like legitimately like a real thing that they were talking about, if they were talking out of their ass.
JoJo
had to be done. Last thing, because I do want to get into this tournament. Because Chad, if you don't know, we have all brought a fictional lady, and we're gonna go 1v1. And then, like, so say, like, we'll decide who goes against who, but say, like, Animak versus Cyanide, and then me versus Evan, and then the winners of both of those will go head-to-head. We're all going to bring a fictional girl to the table at who we think would be the best Keijo player. So essentially, we're going to have our own Keijo match, but, like, in the pretend-scape. So I do want to get to that, because I'm actually really excited about that. And, chat, you're going to decide. You're going to help us decide on who wins. But before we get to that,
be a poll, guys. So.
Yeah, there's gonna be a poll, so you guys gotta stick around. You gotta vote. Before we get to that, though, I do want to emphasize something. This is the first time we see Alba use the hand, right? We see her like using her hand, but like we do get to see some of the abilities, right? We see Mieta's butt Gatling gun, like a copy of it.
It's Luffy's gum Gatlin, but with her butt.
Her butt! I know, I was like, this is beautiful! Like, Chad, if you don't know, it's literally, like, all of these are, like, references. Like,
the butt vacuum?
The butt vacuum is, like, I think the butt vacuum is supposed to be a Kamehameha. Like, I don't super know. The hand is, like, without saying, this show's old, I'm going to say this. Like, the hand is a Gilgamesh reference.
Yes.
Yeah, and then, but with Non, I don't know what that's supposed to be referencing. Like, I guess maybe her name, like none, like neutralize. Like, because that is, like, her whole thing, is that she can, like, neutralize hits and stuff. Like, we see all of that this week. Like, we see hits, like, they're not fully developed.
I think Non has the extra padding, so it makes sense scientifically.
Yeah, that's kind of the approach. But we see them tapping more into the supernatural elements, you know, the more fictionalized elements. Now we're starting to get a little over the top. We also start to see a little bit of return of the thicker lines. They've largely been absent this episode. And that's not surprising because this first episode is always more over the top, more well done. And this is sort of going to determine the rest of the pace of the show, which I thought was pretty strong for a second episode. And that's one of the big things we see is how are the fights, how are the competitions going to be in regards to the characters? And we really get to see that when they fight against the Siren.
Yeah.
Yes. And I wanted to say we get some power scaling today, boys, because we see just how overpowered the teachers are compared to the students. The teachers can take the students on 4-on-1 and still dominate in many cases.
Yeah, and it's what I love to, and even with the Siren, right? Like she's like clearly like she's past her prime. She's still taking these kids on like no problem, right?
Yeah,
like,
I would say she's probably in her 40s. I'd say.
Yeah, like in terms of Keijo, like like it's sort of like how I assume like in Keijo, it's like how like athletes are like ready to retire.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So when you
age.
retire, after like let's say late 30s, then you go into coaching.
Yeah, that seems to be the vibe. And I like I don't like I. It's just a really like this whole episode was really solid. It reminded me why Alba was my favorite like back in the day. Like of the four, like Alba was the one that I liked the most. She is like a little like now that I'm a bit older, I'm like you are a little too shy. Where it's like okay, you kind of have to communicate. Like when she couldn't really like talk to the others and say like the ball's going that way because that's all she had to say, but she literally couldn't say it. I'm like Alba.
They do build up the suspense and tension for that, and that's where when she's able to overcome that element there, then it's that much huger. Like all of a sudden she speaks up, and it's like, oh, it was a miscommunication. I was uncomfortable with my Hiroshima accent because of something that you had said before, and then everyone's like, main character Chan.
Yeah, you did this. I will say, and I looked this up. So this, I was like, oh, okay, so Nozomi, like, because she looks at her and she's not moving and she's waiting for Alba to say, go get the ball, because she knows where it went, right? So you get that scene where Nozomi's like looking at Alba, like basically telling her like, you have to tell me where to go, otherwise I'm not going to get this. And so Alba screams, right? And I'm like, this is literally Deku versus Todoroki, where like Deku's like it's your power too, right? Only this was a full year before. Like, I have to bring that up. This moment that reminded me of a My Hero moment, and a very classic My Hero moment, happened a full year before that.
Yeah, man, Keijo is definitely the best shonen that has zero male characters. I agree with that.
1000%. I'm definitely gonna ride that train. Best shonen with zero male characters. 1000%.
And it's interesting too how they finally take this opportunity to really build Alba up. Like I was really drawn into her after this episode because it's her chance to shine. We see her taking those steps, taking those opportunities to come out of her shell and to just show everyone what she's got, what she's capable of.
Yeah.
But sorry, Evan, I cut you off there.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I really did enjoy the teacher versus the four of them, the four from 309. It was just a very intense match, honestly, and this goes back to what you guys just said, that it really is just a shonen anime without male protagonists, and it's absolutely stunning and incredible because, like, the animation, the moves that they're doing, like the butt gatling and all that other really intense and crazy stuff is just so next level that you just really wouldn't necessarily expect it from a show like this. So yeah, it's really underappreciated in that aspect, and I really enjoy it.
Because you see the first half, you see the training they're doing, and maybe you're the average person, you're watching the show and you're rolling your eyes. You're like, oh great, it's going to be one of those shows. But then you see like the camaraderie arc, you then see the battle sequence, and it's like you just realize, wait a minute, this series is so much more than just a surface level impression that it may perhaps give off to you.
Yeah, it's a show that clearly knows what it is, right? It knows that it's a heavy fan service show. It has fun with it in terms of the comedic elements and the outlandishness of it. But then once it establishes the outlandish premise, it takes itself seriously as a shonen. And that's what I appreciate. It's kind of like One Punch Man, right? It's obviously absurd, but then once the premise is established, it takes itself seriously within that world and makes it a real world where people live and interact.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's super. It's again, like we said this in the first episode. It bears repeating. Like if you're listening to this podcast and you think we're going crazy talking about Keijo, I promise you, this show legitimately is super strong. It needs to be talked about more. It's why the podcast is here. It's legitimately just as good as we all remembered it was.
If you let yourself go along for the ride, you'll be pleasantly surprised. But if you kind of go in and you're looking at some of the stuff, you're like, "Oh, this is ridiculous. This is sexualizing these characters."
Yeah,
it's blah da 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 da. You're not going to be able to appreciate the references that the series makes, the notes that it covers, the interesting dynamics and perspectives it takes on. You lose all those extra elements. It's real easy to, by all means, but it's that one of those finer examples of you can't just judge off of a first impression. You gotta let more of it in, and when you let it in, you're greeted with a whole slew of just very interesting, very fascinating things.
Is there any last minute thoughts on the episode before we get into the mini tournament?
No, I just liked it as a setup in terms of it's setting up the camaraderie between the girls and fleshing out their characters a bit, but it's also really doing a great job of setting up that this is a sport that you have to train, that you have to learn, that you have to commit. So yeah, it's all set up, but I think it does a great job of it. And obviously, the girls look.
Yes.
I feel like we also have to talk about like this is some quality fan service, like them butts, like when Sayaka was massaging Nozomi's butt, I was like,
yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, we're going here. Okay.
I mean, also philosophy and stuff.
Yeah, well, but also philosophy. Yes. Yeah, but also
it
like
just comes
shonen.
out of
Yeah.
nowhere too. You're like, well, good glutes are good glutes. I understand.
Yeah, like guys, like there's nothing weird about it. They are athletes, and they are helping each other stimulate the muscles, and
Yeah.
you've seen athletes like rubbing their muscles, make sure they don't get cramped and stuff.
Legitimately speaking, though, it's actually a really nice plan because you'll see guys do that sometimes. Be like, "Oh man, like your biceps. Oh, you like check out your pecs." And that's kind of something that you see right there. It's just the inverse of it. So
Yeah,
which
it
I
makes
thought
sense.
was really amusing.
It makes sense.
And guys smack each other's butts quite often. I can tell you that right now, bro.
Yes.
It's something we don't talk about a lot, but we smack a lot.
It'd be like,
Oh yeah, in any sport, oof, my rump has been smacked plenty of time.
Yeah, like JoJo knows, man. When he and Gozan were hanging out, we were smacking his butt.
yeah, man, it was ridiculous. That's the real reason why I was all embarrassed when I met Eye Patch Wolf. It's because my ass was beat red because just constant smacks.
Your ass was as red as your face.
Exactly. Okay, I wasn't expecting that to go there. But yeah, my friends, here's the way we're gonna do this.
Okay.
I've got coin flip on my screen here. And what I'm gonna do is I think I'll just flip a coin for each of us. So Animak, I'm gonna flip a coin for you right now. Let's see if it heads or tails. It is heads. So and I'm just gonna go in a circle, and the first person to get heads is going up against Animak, and then the other two will go up against each other.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
All right. So Cyanide got tails. Evan got tails. Okay, so let's see.
It would be you.
Yeah, okay, I got tails, but it's pretty much because you two got tails, I'll just take heads. So yeah, I'll go up against Animak, Cyanide versus Evan.
Oh.
All right, but who's going first? Evan, heads or tails?
I will go heads.
Okay, do you want to go first? Because you got heads. Do you want to go first, or do you want to go second?
Sure, I'll go second.
Okay, fine. Animak, it's me versus you, bro.
Okay, let's go. Who says their lady first?
I'll go first. Like, I guess I'll do the demo. I'll go first. Okay, so my lady that I am introducing into the Keijo ring, onto the land, is none other than the fabulous, the furious, fantastic Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, nice.
I'm going Tifa from FF7. Here's my logic, right? Here's my logic. Tifa,
okay?
Tifa, she got the assets required, like to be in Keijo. Like when you think about Tifa's like Tifa's physique, it is basically that of a Keijo athlete, right? She got the boobs, she got the ass, but she also got like the abs. She got the strength, she got the speed. Tifa is a lot like our judo girl. You know what I mean? Like she has her own martial arts technique that she can bring to the ring. Now, obviously, we are going to kind of scale them so they're all about human level. If somebody like throws out a huge name, but I do think Tifa. Yeah. So my initial presentation is Tifa already has the physique, already top tier. That's my presentation. But thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's my presentation on Tifa.
Well, that's fair. That is fair. My pick is someone who one of my favorite top badass waifus, and someone who's really relevant in the manga right now. So I have to go with my girl Mereoleona from Black Clover.
Oh,
damn it, Animak!
Oh, okay. What is the logic?
Why Mereoleona? Even without her fire magic, which obviously is magic and it's.
Are you okay?
She is one of the most epic badasses ever. Like she doesn't wear revealing clothes, but when you see her in the bathtub scenes, of which we've now had 2, thankfully, she really does have the assets, and she has the attitude. Like Mereoleona will stare you down just with her attitude, with her aura. And I feel like she would be an amazing Keijo player. Like she would use Conqueror's Hockey on you before she even attacks you. So, I think she would be great.
Okay. Now, I think I'll do a counterpoint, and then you can counter my counter.
Sure.
Okay. So, counterpoint. Tifa is already... I already lost. I can see my chat. Tifa is already like a martial artist to an extent, right? So she can already kind of read her opponents quite well. Mind you, I'm not that far in Black Clover. I wish I would catch up soon so I could actually know what I'm talking about, because I don't know much about her. But what I do know is that Tifa got the skills that pay the bills. Tifa's a badass with her fists, but she's also a badass with her hips, okay? Her hips don't lie. She got the booty, she got the breasts. She here for the best of matches. She's here to save the day. She's gonna read. She's gonna read my girl like a book. Like Tifa's gonna win. Tifa would easily win. Tifa can go toe to toe with Sephiroth, and Sephiroth, that man, if that man could play Keijo, he'd be unstoppable.
Bro,
Tifa can go toe to toe.
Sephiroth is just a K-pop star. A K-pop star with a grudge. Like, that. Come on. Anyway, my counterpoint is that we don't know that much about Mereoleona, but we do know that she hates living a nice, even though she's a noble, she hates living in a nice, pampered lifestyle in the capital. So what she does is she goes out into the wilderness for months on end and just trains in the wilderness, hunts her own food. Basically she's like a survivalist wilderness person who trains constantly, takes on 5 opponents at the same time, just an absolute mad Chad lass. So I think that, Tifa fair, good-looking woman with great assets, but I think Mereoleona takes her to the cleaners.
All right. Well then, chat, our fate is in your hands. Here we go. We are going to set up the poll now.
No.
Here we go.
I hate you, Animak. You stole my choice.
Hey, man, the coins decided who goes first. Actually, Evan did.
Yeah, Evan decided. Yeah, it's Evan's fault.
I have backup picks though.
How do you spell that?
Are you okay?
How do you spell her name?
Mereoleona. So Green Knight in chat spelled it correct.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah. Mereoleona.
Ah, thank you. I'm just gonna copy that, and I'm gonna set up this poll. Now, listen, chat. If I may make a last-second thing, Tifa hot. Okay, that's my big poll. Tifa's hot. She get a lot. She listen.
Don't make me whip out the panel of Mereoleona bathing in hot lava from the latest.
Oh my god!
Should we allow additional votes with bits and stuff like that, or no? Like bits and biscuits and stuff.
That's up to you. You're the main host.
Nah. Yeah, you get 1 vote. Too bad. You got to use it wisely, chat. Use it wisely. Here we go. Who wins? Chat, it's Tifa. Think about Tifa. Tifa in the lead. Oh, nope. Here we go. Oh, it's tied. It's tied.
This is quite interesting, guys.
Oh, oh no. Here we go.
Let me also say, chat,
Mereoleona. Oh no.
Mereoleona is nicknamed the uncrowned, undefeated lioness.
Chat, think about Tifa from Remake when she in the dress though. Like the dress she be styling. She got the figure for Keijo. She got the experience, chat. Come on. Oh, I'm gonna lose. No, yeah, it's over. Chat, come on, if anybody's holding out, any last minute votes.
Yeah, give him to my girl Mereoleona.
No, give him to Tifa. Think about Tifa. One more for Tifa.
The thing is, you are challenging weebs right
Yeah.
now, and you chose a video game character.
Man, Weeb's like Final Fantasy. All right, Mereoleona, well fought. All
Thank
right,
you. My girl, we're gonna celebrate together afterwards. Although, I can't bathe in lava with her, sadly, but we'll improvise.
It'd be like that. Maybe
I'd
she can
love
cast
to.
a spell that can
Find a balance.
I'd love to be able to, but gotta be realistic, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be sad. All right, Cyanide and Evan. Hang on, I'll flip a coin. Or do you guys care who goes first?
I
gonna do
mean, all right. Well, I guess I will go first.
All
Well,
right.
Sir Cyanide, I don't know if your waifu can beat the lovely, bodacious Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tail.
Ooh.
Nice choice.
Now Urza, obviously has the assets, and also we already know she's a seasoned sword fighter. So if she were to get into a Keijo tournament, she would definitely, absolutely ace it. Not only that, she's up for a friendly competition all the time. Like Urza is seen all throughout Fairy Tail taking on tasks and things that normally she wouldn't do. So I feel like if she was approached and was told, hey, you want to take part in a Keijo tournament, she would absolutely take it seriously and just destroy the competition. Whatever it is that you are bringing to the table right now, I think that Urza would absolutely crush them.
That's the thing. I'm not going to disagree with you because Urza is phenomenal. One of the single most driving forces in Fairy Tail. If I had to pick someone that could possibly contend, it would have to be Makioze from Fire Force. And the reason why, the Witch Queen herself, I mean, all you have to do is look at the fact that she's a firefighter as is. She's a dominant spectacle despite at the ripe age of 19. We already see her training in newcomers, taking them on quite easily, by the way. Do you think Arthur Boyle and Shinra stood a chance against her? Nah, she mopped the floor with them. Not to mention with her abilities in and of itself, could you imagine how she would incorporate those in a Keijo match? She's finely tuned, honed, and years above her age in terms of wisdom and approach for combat. If anyone could give Urza a tough fight, I think Maki could do it.
Damn, that's a good matchup. Holy shit. Evan, your counterpoint.
Yeah, because guys, by the way, this is without any magic, right? So you're just looking at their
This is without
physical
magic.
yes.
prowess. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about in terms of incorporating that within the world of Keijo as we see by their abilities.
Yeah. There are like certain you would have to sort of temper it where it's like, you would have to
Now,
work within.
A seasoned sword fighter versus a seasoned firefighter. I think, sword fighting takes a lot more practice. Being a firefighter honestly just means that you kind of have to know how to not get burnt. And yeah, sure, there's a swift that's involved in trying to run away from fires, and it definitely is a lot of strength training involved in case you have to maybe lift up furniture and save people and stuff like that. But I feel like the blade, while it might be light, requires people to be even faster than normal, right? Especially if you want to get that kill. So I feel like if Urza was told that instead of using a blade, she had to train her boobs or her butt to be able to strike down an opponent, she would easily take on any foe. And I don't think that Maki is formidable enough to challenge Urza in this battle.
I don't know, because knowing sword fighting might actually work against you because you're reliant on that sword. You're not relying on your boobs and butt.
But I get what you're saying, though, Evan. I get it what you're saying. Because of that, being able to apply the same training that she has into that other field, yeah, I could certainly see that happening. And I think that's where Maki would be evenly matched. Because they both are very serious about their profession, their passion with that. And they're more than capable of being able to defend themselves in close-range combat as well as in long-range combat, as we see in their respected shows, which would make interesting applications in regards to the universe of Keijo. However, I do feel because of Maki's experience within that field, within hand-to-hand combat, she does have that training, she does have that diligence. We see in terms of her figure alone, girl's ripped. She's trained herself to be that. And you said so as well. You brought it up very specifically. Firefighters are honed. They're wearing that heavy gear. They have to be able to save people from burning buildings under duress, under extreme conditions. I feel like Maki would more than be able to match that Keijo training and thrive under it. Because we see that very same driven mentality with how she approaches life, with how she approaches her profession. And as a result, I feel like that would give her just enough of the edge to take on Urza.
I mean, honestly, this is a great matchup.
This is
This is a great matchup.
I'm kind of
So
shocked.
much money. I would pay so much money to see this actually.
Yeah.
happen.
because I'm picturing this as like a four, like a proper Keijo match, and I'm like actually seeing it. I'm like, this would be like legit hype. like all four of these
Remember-
characters going at it would be hype.
The body is an extension of the blade.
Oh, all
I
right.
mean, the blade is an extension of the body. I just said it backwards so it makes sense in my context.
Also, Animak, I appreciate you redeeming a hydrate because I do be thirsty thinking about this Keijo match out here.
Thinking about these two ladies got me needing some hydration.
Yeah, I feel you, my dude. I feel you, brother. All right, Urza versus Maki. Chat, away you go.
I'm eager to see the results because I think
don't
that
even know who I should vote for. Bro.
I like Urza a lot, but I like Maki a lot too. I think you both made good cases. I don't know.
I like Urza as well, and I feel like Urza would be a heck of a great contender. But I feel like there'd be a little bit more of an edge to Maki, so
Yeah.
that's my bias.
Urza making a comeback hard. Oh no,
No, Maki's gonna pull through.
I gotta go
Maki-
Maki too. I'm sorry,
I
brother.
would say Maki is even like more buff than Urza.
Yeah,
Even though Urza is obviously strong physically.
yeah.
Well, Urza's got this relentless aggression to her. It's just incredible. She is a force to be reckoned with. If she can break through it, she will. Just remarkable. I mean, that's a reason why she's one of the standout characters. It's not because her dresses are just extravagant. It's not because of her beauty. It's because of her ferocity and her approach to that as well. That just makes her this constant driving force throughout the series.
And she
What-
has a great rack, which is an asset.
It's true. It is an
Hey,
asset.
no.
It's important, brother. It's important,
It's okay.
brother.
I get it. You know, those abs are unbeatable.
That is she be doing crunches, brother.
I
All right.
want abs like that.
So, I'm picturing like Tifa out, loser. Urza out, loser. Gotta do the Keijo announcer. And now, it's gonna come down to this. It's Animak versus Cyanide.
Oh man, this is a battle of Chad ladies. Like that is
This is rough, dude.
oof.
Mary
Are you okay?
Leona versus Maki. Who wants to make the first argument?
It's tough because Marileona is the embodiment of passion. You see that throughout the entirety of Black Clover. I mean, it's hard to not be drawn into her, especially after her fight with the elves. I mean, my goodness, passes out standing up with her eyes open. You know, that's the intensity that she brings to the table. That is just an example of how dedicated and determined and passionate she is. There is no doubt that if she was in Keijo, she would be a reigning champion for years to come.
Yes. I agree.
But at the same time, I feel like if there was someone that would be able to go blow to blow with her, or at least give it her all, it would be Maki. It's because of the same reasons I mentioned before, because of that intensity, because of her tenacity. You know, she's already shown leadership qualities, much in the same capacity that Marileona has, though to different degrees, of course. And I feel like she would be someone that would rise to that challenge. She'd see that fire burning in Marileona, and she would want to reach that. She would want to attain to that same point to meet her squarely in that circle floating in the middle of the water.
Yeah. Now I haven't seen that much of Fire Force. I've seen like the first season, so I don't know too much about Maki. But I will say that I think Marileona's extreme training methods, again talking about only the physical because magic and stuff doesn't count. I think her extreme training methods would give her an edge because, like I said, Marileona goes out into the wilderness, hunts for food, survives on her own. So these are extreme training conditions that I think would give her that edge where, you know, even if Maki does something unpredictable, something crazy on that land, you know, Marileona's gonna be like, I've seen it all before. I've used my butt to knock out you know, an elephant.
Oh, she would do that
You know
too. We see even at a young age that she had that fierce attitude, that go-getter mentality. You know, she wanted her brother to be just as strong, if not stronger than her, and she was willing to drag him to make it happen. And that's why I think that Maki would be a great opponent for her because she would bring the best out of Maki, and I think Maki would force that very same best out of her.
You help him too much. Like,
No,
Well,
it is. It is a very great matchup, and I mean that's what I
Yeah.
love about
This is
Yeah.
this whole thing, man. It's great.
Because
This
yeah,
is very
Marileona,
good.
it's you get why she's a captain, and
Yeah.
you see the way she commands attention when she walks in. She doesn't need to say anything. It's with the intensity that she brings. It's why she's such a commanding presence. Whether you read the manga, whether you watch the anime, she
Yeah.
commands your attention, and I think
Yeah,
that's really impressive. Maki's more subtle, but I feel like in the same regard that when you go against her, she commands your respect that way. You see what she's capable of.
I
Sorry,
would
Vega.
think that if we were in the world of Keijo, Maki would be a rising star, but I think Marileona would be like, the top dog already, like the veteran.
Yeah, absolutely. Maki would be trying to knock Marileona off, but
Yeah.
that's just it. Is Marileona would be up there. So
Why are you helping the opponent?
Stop it! Stop helping!
So let's just say this: Marileona is a bit older, so she has more experience.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna bank on that experience on this one, even though I think they're very well matched.
I'm gonna go for that youthful energy that she's got. She's budding with potential. She is yet to reach her peak, and I feel like that. That's just it. That youth will give her that extra edge.
All right.
Although I will say before we vote that Marileona was Cyanide's first choice.
Ooh.
She's my favorite character in the show. She's remarkable to watch. So and that was my first choice because she brings a lot to the table.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: Maki was my number 2, and it was a very close number 2 because Maki is my favorite character in Fire Force, and she's consistently been up there as well too because of everything that she brings to the table. Now, you want my honest opinion? Do I think that she would win in a fight? No. But I think she's the type of person that would challenge her for a rematch. And eventually, maybe not the second fight, maybe not even the third fight, but she would make a point to beat her. She wouldn't give up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chad.
And that's what I'm making of, that tenacity that she's got.
Let's do this, chat.
This is on you.
We're counting on you.
You make the decision.
You decide.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Who wins? Who's next?
No, but this was honestly so much fun, guys.
Epic Keijo battles of history.
If I was like a crazy billionaire like my boy Elon, I would like pay to have anime made where this happens, just like random girls from fiction going at each other in Keijo.
It'd be dope.
And like I would use scientists to predict like physically who would win and shit, like based on mathematics and stuff. And then that would be animated. Like power scaling. You gotta power scale these girls.
Listen, if you're an animator out there and you see this episode, you feel like animating, go for it.
Guys, it's close. It's close.
It's so close. It's 6-5, bro. It's 7-5.
Yeah, like remember that Cyanide's vote
7-6.
Cast your votes.
Cast
chat.
your votes, chat.
matter.
Oh God.
I think we pulled it out.
There it is.
We pulled it out, guys.
There it
Hey,
is.
congratulations.
Well
Yes.
done. Marileona and Animak, winners of the first what should we call this? Fantasy Keijo League?
Yes,
Yes.
Like I love it.
Awesome.
And honestly, guys, this is why I went to grad school. It's because I wanted to be able to fully power scale Keijo ladies on a high level.
Of course. This is why we're here. This is why we're all here. This is
We
why we
live for
love
these
Keijo.
moments.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week's episode. Once
Yeah,
again,
what a great episode.
once
Honestly.
again,
What a
big congrats to
fantastic
Animak.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I take a lot more pride in this than you would think.
I got a couple more characters. I had a list of 4 just in case y'all picked one of my other picks, and none of you did. So I got 3
I had a
more
few
top
picks as
tiers.
well, so.
We got Briggs in the chats.
Briggs.
Animak talking about his PhD.
I technically didn't say PhD, guys, so I win.
There you go.
It's true.
Alrighty. Ladies and gents, it has been real. We will talk to you guys in the next one. Next week, you guys better watch episode 3.
You better.
And you better prepare for another Keijo Fantasy League. And until then, we will catch you guys in the next one. All right, bye-bye.
Take good care of yourselves.